Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
ARE STARFLEET is continuing on these voyages of podcast coverage of Star Trek. In this episode, we will continue discussing the final season of Star Trek Discovery. Find us on your social media apps by searching for Starfleet Pod. My name is Mike Slamer, and I am your captain for today's podcast. And in the number one chair, I am very happy to welcome longtime listener, first-time caller, Violet Hammond. Hello, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a true pleasure. So excited to be here.
Yeah. So when I reached out and asked you to join us on a podcast record, what were you thinking?
I was thinking, how do I get my cheat sheet in for reasons? Which I know I blew your mind when I told you what the reasons were.
Yes. Before we get into those reasons, Violet, do you want to tell us a little bit about your Star Trek background?
Sure. I'm one of those
origin
kids.
Story.
My origin story, yes. I'm one of those kids who grew up watching Star Trek with my dad. He's a big Star Trek fan. So, I mean, as early as I can remember, I remember sitting and watching original series. I remember I was strangely obsessed with The Cage for some reason. I don't know. We had it on VHS. I watched it a lot. Watched a lot of original series, all the movies. I have vivid memories of seeing, especially Star Trek 4, because when you're a kid obsessed with whales,
Yes.
and then you go see one of your favorite things and there's also whales, like that was amazing. So yeah, I mean, I remember being a crazy person, little baby Star Trek fan, crying every time the Enterprise blew up, like something weird, Enterprise, Star Trek, always a part of things. I remember Next Generation starting and my dad and I organizing dinner with my mom so that we would have dinner out of the way so we could watch Next Generation when it started, very much always a part of my life. Deep Space Nine was my favorite Trek. So when that started,
Okay.
that was like my show. I loved that show.
Cisco. Who was your favorite character on the show?
Bashir, because I
Bashir?
had a huge crush on Bashir.
Nice.
So we're talking at that point, 13, 14. So
Yep.
we're talking middle school, nerdy girl, big
Yep.
old crush. Yeah. So I loved Deep Space Nine.
That's so funny. I passed over Deep Space Nine, and it was Voyager for me.
See, I feel like by the time Voyager really was kicking in, and I've talked about this on Make It So as well, because then is when I get into my black hole, my dead space of everything. It's once I got older, and then we were college, and then working in the city, because I worked in theater, so I was, there still is
There's
no
no
time
time.
off. No time off.
No time off.
So once you get to that point, then it was I'd see it occasionally, but that's when my black hole began of Trek, unfortunately.
Did you ever binge the series to completion? after
Sometimes,
you're an adult?
occasionally. I've seen some, I've definitely seen it. I'm definitely aware of it, but it was not the kind of thing where I'm reasonably certain I have seen every single episode of Next Generation. But as it went on, I know that I've missed things.
Yeah, Enterprise is my blind spot. I have seen episodes. I am aware of the story and know the broad strokes, but I haven't. I've never sat down and watched from season 1, episode 1 to season 4, episode whatever it was, where it turned
Right.
out to be a hologram.
Mm.
But yeah, that's so interesting. I love asking the question because everybody has. I feel like most folks in our generation here,
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
our 30s, that we kind of grew up in the same realm of watching Star Trek with our parents and then
Yes.
setting aside time in front of the
Mhm.
TV to watch the next generation.
Yeah.
I love that. We have such like a commonality amongst that. What are you currently watching?
In terms of Star Trek, I watched this today. um, Basically, again, because of my job, I don't often get the chance to watch things the way I want to. And it's really funny. Most of the time, it's just I'm going to do a podcast on something. I have to make sure I watch it. So that's where I'm at. I did finish Fallout recently, which was
Ooh.
fantastic, but that is not Star Trek
It is
related.
not, but it is science fiction, so I'll allow it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll allow it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so circling back,
Mm-hmm.
when I had asked you if you want to come on the podcast,
Yes.
Violet, you have been one of our biggest supporters, and I just want to say thank you because
Oh.
it's awesome. Every time you give us a heart in the Discord channel, a thumbs up, it's just like it makes me feel so good. So thank you. Um,
Oh.
it
You're welcome.
helps. And so I was like, okay, we're coming up to the final season, and I would love to include you in some way. So of course, naturally reached out, and it was then
Mm-hmm.
that you had admitted, much
Mm-hmm.
to my absolute surprise. I mean, beam me to another planet. That's how surprised I was. You've never actually watched Star Trek Discovery.
Nope. Watched my first episode today.
So let's just get this straight. So for everyone listening, Violet,
Mm-hmm.
your
Mm-hmm.
first episode of Star Trek Discovery that you ever
Mm-hmm.
watched was episode 7 of season
Of
5.
season 5. Yep.
I am so thrilled to get your unique perspectives as we go through
Oh,
things.
very. I'm sure very unique perspectives. Although I will say, and I will come back to this several times. I know I will. I'm not coming into this blind. I didn't come into this not knowing what was happening with the story or not knowing the characters or like not knowing. Just because it wasn't in my eyes doesn't mean I don't know what's going on. And that's because I read Craig's reviews every week.
Craig
For you.
McKenzie,
Yeah. I
neilbeforeblog.co.uk.
read his review. Yes, I was going to say we have to go to kneel.beforeblog.co.uk. I read that every week. I listen to the podcast. I listen to Kneel Before Pod when they do. So I listen to everything. So I came into this. The only thing that was like different was that I was seeing their faces. Otherwise, I knew what I was coming into. So it wasn't totally blind.
That's
I mean,
that's honestly incredible.
there's a lot of times where there is a lot of media that this is how I consume it. I consume it by listening to my friends talk about it because I don't have the time to sit and watch it. So, because I love supporting all of you, I'm listening to the work that you're doing and then following along with the story. So, I mean, maybe it's weird, but I don't think it's that
No,
weird.
you know what? Everybody should follow your cue and definitely listen to We Are Starfleet for your Star Trek Discovery coverage.
Yes.
I love that. Wow, that's so interesting. I mean, yes. So we were talking before, and when I brought it up in the group chat, Craig literally he knew that you would not watch the show. So
Oh,
when
yeah, he knows.
when he said, he goes, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, why not?" Well, she hasn't seen it. And I said,
Nope.
"What? Are you messing with me?" And
This is what
then
he said. He said he didn't believe me. He's like, I told him he didn't believe me. And I was like, well, I told him he believes me. So don't worry.
Oh my God. Well, listen, Violet, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Thank you for joining me. Are you ready to jump in?
I'm ready.
Let's
go.
do it. Let's hit that black alert.
Mm.
Episode 507, Erigah, which is spelled Eirgah. And I put a exclamation point. That was my edit in the notes. I don't believe the episode has an exclamation point in it. Anyway, with Mole and Locke finally in custody, the Federation is pulled into a diplomatic and ethical firestorm when the Breen arrive and demand they be handed over. Meanwhile, a frustrated Book looks for ways to help as Tilly, Adira, and Reno work to decipher the latest clue. Written by M. Raven Metzner and directed by John Dudkowski. I thought this was an excellent episode. But let's hear from co-host Craig McKenzie. He sent us his thoughts on this. An engaging episode that neatly weaves in Discovery's emotionally driven storytelling to a classic Star Trek tense political situation with maturity in a way that doesn't overwhelm the politics. So my question for you, Violet, is Next Gen did politics great. How did you feel about that?
Yeah. Reading that on the agenda, I was like, yep, that's pretty much exactly the way I felt. I got the feeling from watching this, like I was watching those moments of, here we go. It's a bunch of people in a room. We got the Federation. We got some aliens. There's going to be a fight, but no, we're going to talk about it. And that is just like, yes, that's Star Trek. Let's go. Like it felt very, very Star Trek, felt very familiar to me. Really, 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 I really enjoyed this episode. So I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, maybe I should be watching this every week.
Oh my God.
I had a great time watching it.
Hey, that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
I think Ian Buckley, another co-host here, would agree with you. He said, and I quote, "It good me like."
I laughed out loud.
But I will say, he then followed up, said the Federation and the Breen finally come face to face, so to speak, as the fate of our star-crossed lovers, and perhaps the entire galaxy, is decided. The story unfolds with enough tension, logic, and emotional authenticity to make it a high watermark for the season so far. Now, I know that you haven't necessarily watched the season so far, but how do you feel with the overall sentiment?
I feel like that is very accurate from what I've been reading and hearing, especially in terms of like I know Craig has a lot of issues with the puzzle box like scavenger hunt going on, and then this really didn't feel like that. Like there is that plot where they're trying to figure out the clue, but this just felt very much focused on a real issue that we saw resolved in a way. And I think that must have been very satisfying for people who've been following along every week because it was really like a very nicely contained, dramatic, interesting narrative.
Definitely. Ashley Thomas also felt very strongly that this was an excellent episode. There's a political face-off with the Breen, a risky gamble for escape, and a difficult trade to be made. The episode has some truly excellent fight sequences and high emotional stakes, as well as fascinating political maneuvering by Federation HQ. So we have high marks here.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm glad. I guess I got the good one, guys. Sorry.
So it's your turn. What's your overall thoughts on this?
Yeah, I felt watching this like it was really something that I could relate to as a Trek fan from the ones that I have seen before, what I'm familiar with. It definitely did feel like very engaging characters, a really interesting narrative. I could, like I said, I could follow along even though I don't know what their faces looked like until today. Like I knew who all the characters were, I knew where all the pieces were on the chessboard, and it made sense to me and was very interesting to watch what unfolded. I like I really like Burnham. I really like how she's captaining that ship. I really liked it. I can see I was like, Ashley, my girl, I know. I see you now. Cause I know Ashley loves this, the Discovery, loves it. It's her favorite. I'm with you. I'm on your team.
Yes.
Cause yes, it was I really liked it. And also I have to throw in that seeing 2 original Rent cast members was a lot of fun today. So
hey, yes. I mean, look, with a theater background, it only makes sense for you to call that out. I love that.
Yes.
So we didn't get a whole lot of Tilly in this episode, but what did you think of Tilly?
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
I really liked her. And again, like it was funny here, like seeing the face of someone I've been hearing about for like years at this point. So, but like, very, very cute. What a cute little character. She's adorable.
She's great.
Yeah.
She's great. She brings such like a needed, like chaotic energy to Discovery, but it's always positive. She always brings that sense of like, oh, it's all good. This might be crazy, but we're okay.
Yeah. No, I really liked all of that. I mean, we'll get into it when we get into the
sure.
episode, but I like, I liked the tonal shifts between the two main plots that were going on, trying to figure out the clue and also trying to deal with the diplomatic situation.
Of course.
Or what they were hoping was going to be a diplomatic situation and not a really bad weapon situation. Yeah.
So considering you're getting to put faces to names and seeing things in real time, did anything surprise you?
Did anything surprise me? I did have to, because I've been reading along, I did need to ask Craig about Book and Burnham and if they've ever like figured out their relationship. And he said that they haven't really like talked about it because I could definitely feel that tension. So I didn't know like where they were at. That was the one thing that like, I don't know if I would say surprised me, but that was honestly the one thing I needed clarification on after watching the episode. Because I can see the tension and the uncertainty in their interactions. And I didn't know where, if there was anything that I was missing in that.
So season 3 is when Burnham and Book actually meet. They have tons of adventures together. There is a off-screen romance that occurs.
So it's off-screen. Okay.
Correct. That said, there is a tie-in Discovery novel called Wonderlands that goes through that whole arc, and it covers the time period between when Burnham arrives to the 32nd century and the 8 or 9 months when Discovery arrives in the 32nd century, because they don't arrive concurrently. There's a delay, and the book covers the time period in between. And that's when Burnham and Booker really start to kind of coalesce around each other, and that romance develops. And in season 4, it's kind of tense between them, but you can tell that they have something going on and that there's like a little bit of a, rekindling of that flame. And then in this season, because of Booker's actions in season 4, going against Federation wishes and against her orders as captain of the Discovery, even though Booker's not really a member of Starfleet. So they didn't necessarily break up, but Booker was given an assignment to work with fringe worlds to help rebuild the Federation, because everybody was pretty mad that Booker went off with the bad guy of last season to do some terrorist stuff. Even though he had some fairly good reasons for doing so. But anyway, yes, they are.
Doesn't seem like someone who would just go off. So that makes, I would assume he would have good reasons.
Yeah. So currently the relationship is on ice, if you will.
All right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I want to say it's episode 4 that you might want to go back and watch to get some context behind how hot that relationship was when it was on fire.
Nice. Okay. All right. I'm interested.
Just saying. The visuals are quite nice.
Nice. Okay. Good. Thanks for the tip.
We're going to keep it PG, folks. All right, so let's talk about this episode, 507. We already talked about how good it actually is overall,
Yes.
but let's discuss a little bit in the detail. The cold open features Commander Nan, not the bread, but the Barzan, the security officer, who comes back from season 2. She was introduced in season 2. She comes back to reprise her role as a security officer in the 32nd century, serving on board another Federation starship. So it's nice to see Discovery brings in the same actors to fulfill the same roles, and that they find ways to use those roles to bring those actors back to the screen, because continuity. I think it's a nice thing when they can just throw in a random extra.
Oh, that's great. See, because I had no idea that she wasn't someone who was always there. So that's great to know.
Yeah, there's a little bit of history there. What I hated about it, though, I gotta say, is later on, in the sickbay when Mole and Locke are going through the whole escape sequence, and Commander Nan loses the fight. I was pretty bummed about that. It's like, you're gonna bring a character back only to have her lose the fight.
Yeah,
bummer.
That's a little weird.
It's weird. Locke and Mole are now on the Discovery. They've been captured, caught, and all these great minds in the 32nd century, but it's the 22nd century Doctor who actually, or 23rd century, whatever. It's Culber who actually combs through the Federation database to find a way to save Locke. Tell me your thoughts on this cold open. I thought it was really interesting that the episode just started with all of our players in their places on the chessboard.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really engaging. I was able to jump into it right away. I was moved. I really, really, really enjoy those two actors, Locke and Mole. I loved watching that relationship. I can only imagine how good it's been and how it's been building over the whole season, because here we are in episode 7. But I've been reading along, so I know that they've really built up this relationship that you can easily get invested in, and I was invested in it immediately. So I really enjoyed that, and I really loved that he was trying so hard to save him, and not just for the diplomatic reasons, because I could understand, they tell you, but also you could understand how terrible it would be if he died in custody for, for the diplomatic reasons. But I got the feeling that it really was the right thing to do to save him, and that really affected me. I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Really well said. I love Eve Harlow in this. She's absolutely killing it as Mole, and I think I put down here in the notes. She's just super compelling, and you feel like that sense of urgency from her, like that desperation. It's like we must save right now. This is all that matters. I will do literally anything.
Yeah,
and she does.
I loved that. Yeah, no, I absolutely love their connection. It's palpable. It's like it's jumping off the screen, and it really, really informs all of their actions. It's really nice to watch.
Yeah. Commander Raynor is being difficult again, which I know you haven't watched, but Commander Raynor has been growing as a character from this, this very stalwart, fairly aggressive kind of guy, to being someone who can actually take good orders and directive. When he has this little outburst during the briefing with Admiral Vance and President of Navarre, I almost said Federation President, but
Yes.
but the Federation President is currently off-world for her safety. So we had Tarina, who is Saru's #1 boo. She's in charge of these diplomatic negotiations. And so when Commander Raynor has this little outburst, it's, Tarina knocks back and says, we won't accept any sort of xenophobia right now.
Yeah.
But as we discover, Commander Raynor is from Kelleran, and this was used, his home planet was used as a Breen outpost. So he has very familiar knowledge of the Breen. What did you think about that particular reveal, number one? And does it correlate to his responses and how he reacts to not just the Breen, but also to the diplomacy?
Yes. I really, really enjoyed everything about that. I thought that the fact that this was basically a trauma response was incredibly well handled. Not having that knowledge that this was going to be like a big reveal, I saw that when we looked at the agenda because I didn't, I'm reading reviews and listening to a podcast, so I know I'm not getting every tiny little nuance of it, but it makes sense that that was a big reveal because it lent so much weight to his interactions in this episode. And I think that it really was handled very sensitively because he went through such a terrible experience, and they weren't just like, great, tell us everything you know. Like, it was handled very sensitively and in terms of trying to make it easier for him to share his experience so that it could be used to their advantage in the upcoming negotiations. And it was really, again, like, I loved this episode. I really liked it. I liked everything about it. They handled it really, really well. It was easy to follow, and I had a lot of sympathy for him and understanding for the position that he was in. Nobody could be expected to be polite in a situation like that,
Definitely.
not when you've gone through that kind
Yeah,
of trauma.
exactly.
So it worked out really well.
What struck me about that conversation, number one, Burnham, as you know, just before she walks away, she says, "Thank you for talking."
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Just thank you for talking. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I've noticed about in this episode is the the importance of information, the importance of understanding and getting to the reason why. Someone can tell you their intent, but you don't really know where that intent is coming from. So just talking, the simple act of sharing that information, yes, it's private. Yes, it might be a little confidential. Yes, it might be super personal and it might make you feel very vulnerable. But at the same time, it leads to such a deeper understanding and this deeper element of connection that people can then utilize to build even more bridges.
Yeah. No, I think that he needed to hear it too. Like, he need like that his situation and his past was not being brought to someone who wasn't taking it seriously. That it was being listened to and understood and acknowledged, and that was important, and that was handled really well.
Yeah. I think it also, the conversation lays out for the viewer who the Breen are. They're not just this,
Mm,
green goo or solid. I'm not really sure what their preferred nomenclature
mm,
might be. But we don't really know anything about their culture, but now we understand they were pretty oppressive. They are aggressive, they are dangerous. They worked with the Dominion back in the 24th century. So we know they're bad guys, but how bad
mhm,
really? And Rayner gives us that insight. Finally,
mhm,
that veil is lifted a little. So we understand when the Dreadnought ship arrives at Federation HQ that
mhm.
this is dangerous, this is bad.
Yeah, this is a bad situation. The thing is
Yeah.
huge.
I was I think that might be the largest spacefaring vessel I've seen on on screen.
On a TV show,
On a TV
maybe.
show, maybe. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Eric Bana's thing in
Oh
Star
yeah.
Trek, the J.J. Abrams one, that thing is
That was pretty massive too.
enormous.
That was pretty massive
Yeah.
too. Star Trek people on Twitter, I am requesting a line diagram of the Dreadnought ship next to a couple other enterprises. Maybe we could break it down. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a pretty intense look, I think, and it
Mhm.
definitely showcases. Also, it seems like the Breen, because they're faction based and they all vie for power. I wonder if those are also just like literally their living fortresses.
Yeah, because you don't want to think about the amount of troops on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of space for a lot of people
Yeah.
with a lot of guns on there. It is scary.
Yeah.
It is terrifying.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
And
there's nothing worse than that.
Exactly. And Starfleet is clearly preparing for a serious confrontation. From your perspective, having watched previously, let's take Next Generation, for example. When Wolf 359 was occurring, you know, or even in First Contact when the Borg were approaching Sector 1, you know, Starfleet was kind of like, oh, we got this. We can handle it. No problem. Lots of overconfidence. But in this case, lots of no confidence.
Yes. Or we're projecting that we're going to talk, but in our other hand, we're arming. Like it did seem that they were, well, but also Raynor is sitting there saying like, they're not going to talk. They're going to shoot first. Like we should shoot first. And it's like, no, we're not. I mean, they ultimately, as you can see that in the episode, they do make the right decision in talking first and using that knowledge, that information to be able to de-escalate and keep it to a non-violent confrontation. But I think they were ready if it came down. I don't think they would have won. It would have been really bad.
Yeah.
It would have been real bad.
Yikes. Big yikes. I particularly enjoyed the little tension that was building throughout the episode where, you know, before the Breen actually arrived, it really truly did seem like the threat was that intense, that real, that dynamic. And that's not to say that the Breen aren't going to come back, right? And we still have that big showdown. But it could have gone that way.
I mean, I would assume at some point something real bad is going to happen.
Tilly and Adira, meanwhile, are working the clue with Jet Reno, played by Tig Notaro. We love Jet Reno on this show, not just on the show itself, but also on this podcast. She is a fan favorite character. What was how did you like her?
You have the same thing. I took, as I said, I took very minimal notes because I knew I was just, you know, I was going on. This is like when people go on the internet and rank like song titles on an album that hasn't come out yet. Like I was literally just going on vibes here. But you and I wrote down the same thing, which was 7 of Limes.
Yeah.
What? I had to pause.
Yeah.
I laughed out loud. So it's like, I have to pause because I'm going to miss something. But 7 of Limes?
7 of Limes?
I'm making up that drink now.
Yeah. 7 of Limes.
7 of Limes.
How does she know about a 24th century Borg?
I don't know.
We need an explanation.
I do, and I want the recipe.
Okay, we had the oh man, I can't say the name, the Kellerin cask whiskey sour mash. We talked about that.
Oh yes.
Now we have 7 of Limes. So
7 of Limes.
What do you think? What is it?
Oh, I mean, I feel just with the fact that there's limes, I feel like this is some kind of gin and tonic thing.
Could be.
I feel like this is like a Star Trek drink a summer situation
totally.
that we're making.
I was thinking like a mojito.
For sure.
Could be like some blend of a mojito.
Yeah. Yeah. Throw some lime, some mint, really get it nice and refreshing.
Yeah. This sort of like plot sequence also doubles up with Stamets and Booker, because Stamets and Tilly have this really nice conversation, and I really want to talk about that for a moment, where Tilly is going to leave Discovery to go back to Federation headquarters because she's concerned for her cadets, her students.
I get it.
Totally get it.
And yeah, you want to be there for the people that you think, are depending on you. I get that. But yeah, I don't think that they would have solved this mystery without her. And I think that it was the right call to stay and to do that. And then, yes, I think I don't know his name. I know that he is Anthony Rapp. So
That's
I
okay.
can't remember the character name. Yeah. Okay. Like, I know that you're Mark from Rent and many, 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 many other things, but when he popped up, I was like, oh, hey. So, but it was the right call to stay, because it was kind of fun to see like the two teams trying to work it out in a separate spot. Cause sometimes when everybody is in one area, it doesn't, it doesn't work. You need to get away and kind of focus. And I thought it was really nice focused teamwork, so that when they brought everything together, it was, okay, three of us figured this part out. Two of us figured this part out. Here's the answer. And it was really satisfying.
Yeah, I really liked their work together. And I thought Stamets and Booker, when they were having their session, breaking down what the origin of this little clue was, I thought they were having a really good dynamic between the two of them. I did kind of expect more, because previously in the season, Booker sat down with Dr. Culber, and of course Culber and Stamets are partners, and it seemed like Booker and Culber were having this little new friendship developing, and I thought there might be some of that at play with Stamets at the same time, and just like an interweaving of these three characters who are sharing so much with each other and working so closely together. I was surprised that it didn't come up, but maybe that's for a different time.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be coming. But I loved the visualization of him seeing the cloud in space, and so I loved how that was visualized. I really, really thought that was beautiful and really effective, and really got the information across in a fun way and an interesting way.
Yeah, I would agree. I really enjoyed that visual breakdown. Discovery never misses when it comes to the visuals. Speaking of Dr. Culber, I always call this out because I'm the guy who loves the uniforms. I always look at the cosplay. I may not necessarily get them all, but Dr. Culber has a winter jacket uniform variant. So, hello, cosplayers. You now have a mission to make a nice white leather-looking parka. Good luck.
Yeah, have fun. Have fun with that.
Back in the sick bay, we got to go back to Maul and Locke now, because most of the action is with them.
Yes.
Aside from the Breen negotiations.
Sure. Yes. But tied in.
Yeah. Burnham really has to discover what exactly is going on with this couple. And we learn through the discussion that Locke is actually, he's not just the nephew of the Primarch, which we learned in episode 5. We were like, okay, so he's the nephew of somebody important.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Who cares, right? Turns out he's not just the nephew, he's the heir to the throne.
He's like the Aragorn of the piece.
I saw on Twitter that Elias Tufexis, who plays Locke, I guess on the set while they were doing all the filming, they came up with all these song titles and replacing anything that rhymed with Breen with Breen. So they did Teenage Breen Land. Sweet Breens are made of these.
Oh my god. Sweet and Breen is never in the same sentence.
And it really works. I think what's exciting about this sequence is that not only do we learn who Locke really truly is and the importance of it, but he's literally under lock and key. He is strapped down to a biobed. with stimulants and IV run going through because they don't know Breen physiology that well and they don't know really how to keep him alive from this fatal injury that he's received. But he's being kept alive, at least for the time being. And throughout all of this, Mole is right there at his side. So my question for you, Violet, if you're the chief of security, your prisoner, your detail, would you allow that?
I mean, logically, no, but I know that they've made a huge, huge, huge deal of not being able to be separated, and I'm sure in some way I can't remember if it was mentioned or if it's just kind of the kind of thing. I think it
They
was in
definitely
the cold
mentioned it, yeah.
open that if they were separated, it would be even harder to keep him alive. Like it is almost at this point like there is like an invisible string between the two of them, and if they are not together, they will each start to like wither away. It is, and it's palpable. It's not hyperbole. Like you can see it. They need to be together. So I can understand, even though as the security officer who is trying to keep track of the person that you have, that you have in your custody, I can see that if you are trying to keep both of them alive, you need to keep them together. It's a terrible idea. And of course, it doesn't work out. But I understand the reasons, and they're very, very apparent.
Yeah. They do have a compelling reason. Culber very clearly states we should keep them together because separating them at this point isn't doing anybody any favors.
No.
Now, that said, once the escape plan is put together and the force field drops and all the escape plan starts happening, I gotta say, I was pretty disappointed in my Starfleet crew over here. Dr. Culber just like, oh yeah, drop the force field, no problem. I have to get in there and save his life. And meanwhile, security is just in La La Land.
Yep. Well, she should have been restrained. You could be together, but there's absolutely no reason why she wasn't restrained. She should have had, handcuffs or, but there's no reason should just have been like wandering around.
Yeah.
That was silly.
Definitely. I gotta say, if I had to take something away from the episode, it's essentially that. That's the only thing. And I totally get why they let it happen, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. For the plot.
For the plot. But it does serve the Breen negotiations. And I gotta say, it's super intimidating. I gotta shout out Rayner here. He has a real FU face the entire time they're in the room together.
Yep. Ice water in his veins, the way he was doing that. Oh, the way he was talking to them. It was great. I loved it.
Oh man, I feel like maybe everybody has that kind of like fantasy, if you will, of just talking back like that. The entire negotiation scene in Federation HQ between the Breen and Admiral Vance, President Tarina, Captain Burnham, Commander Rayner, and then you've got the full staff surrounding them, and you've got security in the wings. When the Breen first arrived, you had the main party. There's like 4 or 5 of them, and then the camera kind of like zooms out to show all of Federation HQ a little bit there, that deck, and then all of a sudden, bloop, 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 there's more Breen just beaming in all over the place. I was like, oh gosh,
yes,
oh gosh, what's gonna happen?
That was scary.
But to your point, overwhelmed with numbers. And it definitely made me feel as though they came in with that bluff. Yes, I was intimidated. Yes, I was concerned. But knowing who Locke is at this point, it's like, okay, yeah, they are bluffing. It is a show of strength. And they believe they can get away with it. So hell yeah, Starfleet, for not giving them up.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely. And for having the information to be able to say, we know you're bluffing. Don't try it. We know.
So
They don't know
they
we know.
don't know
They
that we
know.
know that we know that they know that they know that we don't know, but we actually do. So
But
when
we
Maul
do
and Locke are
know.
breaking out, how pissed off were
Mhm.
you? Because you were like, Starfleet just saved your asses. You're able to stay
Yes.
here for the time being. Y'all can figure it out, but at least this problem is done.
Yeah, but then they mess it up. Well, the plot. But yeah, it was like, guys, just hang out. But they didn't know. See, information. If you don't have the information, then you're going to do stupid things. And that's what happened. They do something stupid, and he does something extraordinarily stupid.
So stupid.
So
he
stupid.
pumps himself
Like,
full of whatever that green juice is and dies.
yes.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
And dies. I was shocked. I was like, there's no way. Like, here I am. It's the first episode I've seen of the show, right? I'm like, he dies? What? Like, absolutely not. This can't be what's happening. Oh, it was what was happening. I didn't want to admit it, but it's what happened. And then they slide that in at the end. It's like, well, this thing can also. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. it did feel a little pull the carpet out from under you. Yeah, it just, it really irked me so much. And part of it is from just like the writing standpoint. Like, you just, as a viewer, you're just like, yes, let's let our heroes have a one-up for a change. And instead it's like, oh, we caught up and now we're on the back foot again.
Yes. Again. And we're invested in these two. Like, yeah, they're the antagonists of the season, but they're definitely worth investing in. I don't want to see this guy die.
Yeah.
Like, I believe in these two after reading about them and then seeing them today. Like, I don't want bad things to happen to them. I want something good to come out the other end of them, just because they're not the other end of the situation. Just because they're not the heroes of the story, it doesn't mean that something good shouldn't happen for them. See, this is the problem. I immediately like lock onto the romance of the situation. I'm like, okay, well, they're my favorites now. Not that they are, but I'm like, I totally get it. So
No, totally. What else do you have in your notes? Because I think we basically covered a majority of this episode. And other than a few visual things, like, for example, I will say, kind of a weird thing to be in space. So when the Breen ship warps away, every Starfleet ship and the base itself, like, gently moves.
Yes,
in its wake.
I noticed that. Yeah, it's that big.
It's that big, but also, like, should that happen? We're in space.
Probably not. We're in space.
There's no air to move.
Probably not, but it looked really cool.
It looked really cool. I'm gonna put in Craig's soundbite.
I know.
I didn't like it.
Like, I didn't like it.
He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. That's okay.
It's like, I can hear it already from other episodes. You going, it's so cool.
I'm gonna.
No, it was cool.
I'm gonna chalk it up to the fact that the Breen warp bubble, just requires so much energy that when it is created, it just creates like a gravimetric wave. And that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm in. You don't need to convince me. I'm right there with you.
I can
so
do
we're good.
technobabble too.
Yes.
And then finally, the next episode is going to take us to the Badlands. As a DS9 fan, how do you feel about that?
I thought it was really cool. I'm like, I love it. I think that the fact that the little metal tag was actually like a library card, kind of, was really cute's not the word, but I was like, this is nice. I like that the way that they're setting this up, and the idea of a library that moves in space to different locations and is in these, space like, oh, what's the word? Like it's like in a space
Oh
fog. Like
yeah.
that is really cool. I bet that's gonna look
Yeah, I'm
amazing.
really excited to see it.
That is just like the imagination there was peak imagination. That is really, really cool. The thought of this space library with all these old
Yeah.
artifacts and old manuscripts and things nobody's seen for hundreds and thousands of years. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
It feels like such a fun fantasy element where there's like an archive
Yes.
hidden somewhere, and our heroes have to go to the archive to find this crucial piece of information.
Yes. That's really cool.
Or when Aang, the last
That's like
airbender, had to go to the archive and meet with the spirit. Sorry,
I
that
don't
was
want
a
that one. I don't
was a
know.
pivot. That was a far end. That was a left field pivot.
That was a pivot. See, I was about to pivot to Doctor Who with the big library, but that's that's where I was headed.
Yeah. Any thoughts or theories on where the next episode might be taking us? Episode 8. And by the way, you can watch it. You have access.
I can watch it. I can watch my second episode of Discovery ever. Well, judging from what's going on, I assume they're going to go to this awesome library that I wish I could go with them to and find this really cool Betazoid
As long as you have your
manuscript
library
and
card.
figure out the next clue. As long as I have my library card, my very cool metal library card. Yeah, I would hope that they find the next clue. As far as what else is going on with the Breen and everybody else, who knows? And I would assume by that little hint of this thing that they're searching can bring somebody back to life. I was like, okay, well, they're gonna bring somebody back to
Oh, who could it
life, I
be?
guess, or that's what she's hoping. Oh, and she's with them. The Breen
That's
took
right.
her. We
Good
should say.
point.
Yes, yes. So that's its own situation and problem. But they don't seem that worried about it. They're off for the clue. They're like, we're gonna deal with this later. This is a back burner situation.
Everybody seems real nonchalant about it.
Well, to be fair, everybody was really, really, really worried about the Breen coming, but the people trying to figure out the clue were like, leave us alone. We're figuring out the clue. I'm like, you could die really soon. I get you want to figure out the mystery, but everybody else seems really concerned. Maybe like step back for a second. Yeah.
Survival mode kicks in. Yeah.
Yeah. Think that I got everything I wrote down. I wrote down one thing, as I told you, like it's always me. This is my issue. I get all hooked up on the romance. But that line of dialogue about that they're in love because of their differences, not despite their differences. Yeah, I was into that. That was a really good line of dialogue. I really like that.
That's something to think about. That's really something to think about.
Yeah. I really liked it. Their relationship is really interesting. Really interesting. And I'm using present tense because I'm 100% sure this guy's coming back from the dead. I don't think he's dead.
Yeah. Like, for him to just kind of go out like that, I didn't believe it. I just didn't believe it. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
That guy's not dead.
Nah, definitely not. Definitely not. No, that's a good note, because I think Discovery puts a lot of really interesting and thoughtful dialogue into their episodes on purpose. In part because it makes for good social media engagement to take a screen grab of the character and put the quote that they said and then post it, and then everyone's like,
how profound. Yes.
Violet, any other thoughts on this episode?
I really liked it.
I love that.
I was really happy to be watching Star Trek and have it feel kind of like comfortable and familiar, but also like really pretty and like fast paced and interesting, and to see all these characters and actually see them, not just be reading about them or listening to them or you guys talk about them. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. Thanks for asking me to watch it and be here. Cause
I'm so glad you enjoyed it, and you're so welcome, of
yeah,
course.
loved it.
Do you think this will inspire you to start from season 1, episode 1 at some
Probably. I
point?
had already planned to try to get through it, and also like it's definitely on my list to try to do a lot more of Strange New Worlds, because I had only seen the musical episode when I was on Make It So. Yeah,
Oh,
when I
yeah.
was on Make It So, we did musical episodes in Star Trek, and that was on the list. I was like, all right, well, so that's my one episode. Actually, no, I've watched 2 or 3 episodes of Strange New Worlds, I think. But yeah, I definitely want to try to watch a lot more. Everything that I've seen, I've definitely enjoyed. It's like a warm hug. It's like coming back to something that I love and have always loved. So, yeah, I definitely want to try to watch
Yeah.
more.
Fantastic. Violet, thank you so much for taking the time and joining the
Yeah.
podcast, sharing with us your thoughts,
Mm.
unfiltered, incredible. That's what we
Vibes
are
only.
here for.
We're here on vibes only.
Vibes only, baby. I'm gonna put that in the show notes.
We're here
Vibes
on
only
vibes
in this
only.
episode,
No,
people.
no information. Vibes only.
Violet, where else on the internets might listeners be able to find you and hear more of your thoughts?
You can always find me on my link tree. It is linktr.ee/violet.h.310. And most recently, I was on Frame to Frame, where I had the boys go over the theme of women against the super rich. We discussed, we
Ooh.
discussed Ready or Not and Glass Onion for reasons. If you know, you know. You'll know after you listen to it. Also, Bo and I gave a much needed refresh of 16 Candles for Movieversaries for its 40th anniversary. It was definitely something that was worth talking about. He'd never seen the movie. My good friend Bo will never forgive me for making him watch that movie, but
Oh, come on.
oh,
Come
there was
on,
a
Bo.
lot. There was a lot that there was a lot we had to talk about. A lot.
Oh my god.
And coming up, I'll be going back to my buddies at Den of 10 for the next part of our Disney series, where we're moving into the Renaissance, so
yes.
1987 and beyond. And then after this upcoming season of Doctor Who, I'll be on TARDIS crew as the baby Doctor Who fan. So,
Oh, let's go.
yes, I'm ready.
Oh, that's gonna be
I'm ready for
great.
my first season of Doctor Who, the knowing everything that came before. So, see, that one I actually did watch everything, but that was Craig. Craig and I watched all of it. Took us 3
Amazing.
months,
I've
and we watched
literally
all
never
of it.
watched a single episode.
So yeah, that's everything coming up. I'm excited.
Outstanding. Violet, thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Folks, lots of DS9 references and callouts throughout the series. So episode 8 is going to take us into the Badlands. Ashley Thomas and Craig McKenzie will return next week to break down that one for you. And I guess they'll let us know if Cisco appears as a prophet or not. In the meantime, join our conversations on social media by searching at Starfleet Pod. And thank you for subscribing to our podcast. If you want to support the show, please give us a 5-star review on your listening platform. Until next time, let's hit it.
Welcome to the third age of podcasting.
The year is 2024.
The name of the podcast is A Dream Given Form.
Join A Dream Given Form in 2024 as we continue our Babylon 5 journey, picking up our exploration of Season 2 and beyond. Check out fortnightly episodes looking back at Season 2 from spring 2024. And be sure to check out our previous Season 1 episodes and wider thematic discussions.
I don't understand what the huge problem is that people have with infection, to be honest. I know it's not great, but it's got a monster in it, and it's quite exciting, and it has David McCallum.
It does.
But You know, I did have to come up with an answer to the question, and with a heavy heart, I would say that the episode I would skip is Grail, probably because...
You can't cut out David Warner. You can't do that.
Well, no, that...
You can't cut him out.
And he just
Well,
did.
no. Guys.
Including interviews with Pat Torman.
When the animation came around, where I personally speaking for myself, I thought, oh, it's perfect. Perfect, because we could do so much that we couldn't do with the budget, you know, and the limitations of live action. But with this, and it doesn't matter how old we are.
Marshall Teague.
He said, you make the sword, I'll create the role. And I walked in with the sword. He looked at it and he said, oh yeah, oh yes.
And Peter Jurusik.
I had great trust that at one point I realized, you know, this guy knows what he's doing. He knows who Jakar is. And, you know, you become the kind of the expert. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to interpret the people and interpret the literature. And as I said, make them walk and talk and be real.
So join us on A Dream Given Form.
Alas.
Best hope.
For peace.